My family and I have always been really close. I have a father, mother, two sisters, Megan and Alyssa, one brother, Jacob, and a husband, Mark. Each member of my family has played a significant role in contributing to the person that I am today. Each experience that I've had with these incredible people have influenced me in one way or another. Although every experience that I've had with them has greatly impacted my life, one moment that influenced me the most all began with one medical diagnosis. Every day, my brother and sister, Jacob and Megan, battle a disease called type 1 diabetes. If battling this horrible disease wasn't bad enough, when Jacob was in second grade, he had to deal with something that was far worse. One day back in 2002, I went to Jacob's class to pick him up so that we could walk to the bus stop together. Since I was the oldest sister in the family, I was responsible for making sure that Jacob was taken care of at school. When I got to his class, I noticed that he was far quieter than normal. I asked him what was wrong, but he just told me nothing. When we got to the bus stop, a group of boys that were in my 5th grade class started calling him names. Because Jacob was slightly larger than some and had to wear a medical bracelet, Fatso and Girly Boy were among a couple of the names that he was being called. I tried to stop them, but there was nothing I could do. Apparently this had been going on for a while. When we got home, I told my mom what had happened, and she decided to call the principal. He told her that they would keep an eye out, and if it persisted, they would talk to the boys, but there was nothing that they could do until then. Jacob told my mom that he was not going back to school, and that he hated school, which was unlike Jacob. He always loved school. My mom called his teacher, Mrs. Armstrong, to let her know what was going on. Weinstein stated, "Taking peer harassment seriously is crucial if teachers are to build safer, more caring classrooms." Mrs. Armstrong definitely took Jacob's harassment seriously. She was also really upset and told my mom that she would come up with a plan to get Jacob to like school again and find a way to stop the boys from bullying him. The next 2 days, Jacob stayed home from school. While at home, Mrs. Armstrong called him both days to tell him that she missed him and wanted him to come back. On the second day, she also called to tell my mom that she had come up with a plan. She decided to have Jacob and my parents come in and talk to the students about type 1 diabetes, not just in their class, but in my 5th grade class where the boys were as well. Weinstein stated, "In order to build community, we have to create opportunities for students to learn about one another and to discover the ways in which they are both different and similar." Mrs. Armstrong believed that if they were more informed about Jacob's diabetes, maybe they would stop bullying him. It would make them more aware of the challenges that he has to face and hopefully more sympathetic. Beyond better pedagogy, the teacher of the future must actively improve the conditions for learning in his or her immediate environments. Put one way, teachers will never improve learning in the classroom or whatever the direct learning environment unless they also help improve conditions that surround the classroom. This is exactly what Mrs. Armstrong did, and what I plan to do in my future classroom as well. By calling Jacob and making him feel more welcome, she did something that was far beyond her in-class duties. And thanks to Mrs. Armstrong, Jacob was no longer bullied and he loved school again. She had made a difference in his life. This experience made me realize how important being a kind person is. From that day on, I made a pact with myself that I would always strive to look out for and be nice to others. I even learned from this experience that when I got older, I wanted to pursue a career that would impact the life of someone else, particularly a child. At first, I thought that I wanted to be a neonatal or pediatric nurse. Once I realized that the medical field was not for me, I searched to find something else that would be just as rewarding. After much research, I found that teaching was exactly the right field for me. I would still be helping children, just in a different way. Mrs. Armstrong is the type of teacher that I want to be. I have learned from her example and plan on helping my future students in every way possible. I want to make a difference in someone's life, just as Mrs. Armstrong did my brother's. From this experience, I now know better about the person that I want to be and the person that I am today. It has changed my life for the better.